HBO's The Last of Us series premieres January 15th. Following a slip-up, HBO has confirmed a release date for its long-expected The Last of Us TV series. The video game adaptation will debut through HBO and HBO Max on January 15th at 9 p.m. Eastern. You'll have something to watch while you wait for Succession, then, although you may want to pace yourself when there are 10 episodes in this initial season. As you're likely aware by this stage, The Last of Us stars the Mandalorian's Pedro Pascal as cynical survivor Joel and Game of Thrones' Bella Ramsey as Ellie. The teen Joel has to smuggle out of a quarantine zone 20 years after a fungal zombie plague wrecks civilization. Big names like Nick Offerman, Gabriel and Anna Torv also star, while game voice actors Ashley Johnson and Troy Baker also make appearances. The show is expected to largely follow the plot of the original game, with Naughty Dog's Neil Druckmann serving as writer and executive producer alongside Chernobyl's Craig Mazin. Unlike many game-based productions, The Last of Us will have both the creative input of the developer and critically acclaimed talent behind the cameras. It's just a question of whether or not that combination works in practice, especially for newcomers who aren't attached to the story. What is the game about? In The Last of Us, tough guy survivor Joel Miller is hired to escort a teenager named Ellie through the wasteland and to some doctors who believe that Ellie may be the cure to the plague. As they make their way from what used to be Boston to what's left of Salt Lake City, they run into the usual post-apocalyptic tropes, including roving groups of infected, a couple of cannibals, some huge jerks, and a giraffe who's escaped from a zoo and is getting out while the getting is good. While the show will mostly follow the plot of the first game, it is expected to incorporate elements from The Last of Us Part 2, which is set 5 years after the first game. That said, it actually seems more likely that they'll pull elements from The Last of Us, Left Behind, an Ellie-centric prequel set before the events of the first game. But the series is also expected to expand upon the game's story, including, apparently, some elements that were previously cut from the game. In a July 2020 interview with the BBC Sounds must-watch webcast, series co-creator and writer Craig Mazin said of his Naughty Dog collaborator on the series, Neil Druckmann, at one point, he was like, there's one thing we were talking about doing in the first game, for a while, and then he told me what it was, and I was like, gunk. Okay, jaw drop, that's going in. We have to do that. Mazin also said, so the changes that we're making are designed to fill things out and expand. Not to undo, but rather to enhance, adding that, it's not like we just decided, well, wouldn't it be cool if there's one episode where Joel and Ellie get on motorcycles and confront a motorcycle gang? There's no episodic nonsense here. The things that are new and enhancing of the storyline that we're doing are connected in organic, serious ways that I think fans of the game and newcomers alike will appreciate. Even so, The Last of Us still seems like it's taking a lot of cues from the game. Both the teaser trailer and the HBO sizzle trailer include moments that look like scenes from the game, and even seem to employ the same or similar camera angles. These include images of the chaos when the outbreak begins, shots of a destroyed city, a shot of Joel carrying Ellie, and another of a survivor named Bill introducing himself. There's even one, of Ellie and her friend Riley, that looks to be from The Last of Us, Left Behind. There was also, in the teaser trailer, our first, albeit brief, glimpse of a clicker, one of the aforementioned infected who's been blinded by the fungus destroying their eyes from within. The Last of Us TV show trailer. The first trailer for The Last of Us dropped as part of Naughty Dog's The Last of Us Day celebrations on September 26. Showcasing Joel and Ellie's journey through post-apocalyptic America, the teaser mirrors many of the game's most iconic moments, including the pair's winter trek through the snow-covered landscape of Colorado. Check it out for yourself above. More footage was also revealed as part of an HBO Max supercut trailer in October 2022. In early November, HBO also released the first poster for the new series. Check it out now. Who is developing the series? The series will feature some of the same names as the games. Druckmann, who was the writer and a co-director of the first game and a co-writer and co-director of its recently released sequel, is one of the show's co-creators alongside Mason, and will probably write or co-write some episodes, while one of the show's executive producers is Evan Wells, who is the CEO of Naughty Dog, the company that made The Last of Us games. Along with Druckmann and Wells, the show will also feature music by Gustavo Santaolalla, who's done the score for both games, as well as for such TV shows as Jane the Virgin and Making a Murderer. It will also be co-executive produced by Asad Kizilbash, who worked on the Uncharted movie, and has had his name in the credits of such Sony games as Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, and multiple God of War installments.